what you thought you wanted in life is not really what you wanted. Because the sense that wants that, or that wanting, is you. And maybe it'll sound crazy to say this, but that is the illusion. You. That sense of you is the illusion. The illusion of time, space, me, separation, that this is real. That what my mind is saying is happening is actually solid and real. So it's an ironic thing to say, because everyone in society, because they're a self, is telling you that you need to know what you want, what you desire, what your dreams are, what your hopes are, where you're going. Who are you? Who do you want to become? What do you want to make of yourself? What's your mark on the world? And there's a time and place for everything, so that's fine. But I'm not really, I guess I speak more about the disillusionment of all of that. And sometimes it seems like it's healthier or it's helpful to balance out this strong belief that, for instance, I can't amount to anything, or this is too difficult for me, or this seems impossible. When there's a strong belief in that, then sometimes it is nice to really balance it out with the opposite, that you can do it. It's totally possible. You're fully capable. You're worthy of getting whatever you want. So ultimately, those two sides of the same coin are not really true. And they both, in a way, are the dream. They're both, in a way, speaking with the assumption that there is time, somewhere to go, somewhere, someone to get somewhere. And this is really difficult to talk about, because it's like when all of that just collapses, it just all loses its validity, its reality, its relevance. It just disappears. It can just stop arising. So sometimes, because we're so amazingly lost, like we really don't know what we want at times, sometimes it's good to hone in and just feel like, okay, what feels like the next right step for me? And what do I think I want to do with my life? What's my goal? And, Yeah, I feel like it is healthy. That is a really healthy thing. But at a certain point, there's no need for that anymore. There's no want. There's no desire. There's no lack. That not enoughness that just stops arising because what's more and more obvious, what comes more and more into view, not visually, but I guess energetically, is the absolute fullness of everything, is the absolute non-separable completeness of everything. So that individual sense can't get to this. It can die into this. To a point where then this is just obvious to have always been the case. And it seems like the way that it dies to it is it loses all of its personal wants, desires, and dreams, and goals, and hopes because we've really been told that that's the way. But it strengthens separation, actually. Well, I don't know about strengthens, but it just confirms it and assumes that that is the only reality, the right reality. And the dissolving of all of that it's something else. But again, if you're used to denying yourself, then I would say if you feel anger, honor it. Really own it. Become it. Don't try to separate yourself from it. Don't try to suppress it again. Don't try to deny yourself again. So for me, because my comfort zone was to constantly suppress and deny myself. It was just natural. So it did take effort in the beginning to actually come to terms with how I really felt, how sad I was, how angry I was, and to really see it for what it is and stop making excuses. Just see it for purely what it is. Then I had to learn how to communicate and to vocalize why I feel the way I feel, and this is perhaps why there was a lot of suppressed anger and why it's so intense now and why it's coming out like this and why I'm so sad or angry. Sometimes I did need to say, can you just hear me out without trying to fix me or change me? I just need to let this out. Can you provide the space for me to do so? I don't remember if I said something like that, but you know, that general gist is what I kind of had to learn. To let this stuff out, to let the stuff out that I've been hiding from all my life, that I was just hoping that it would somehow just disappear, but that's not really how it works. So it's odd that there was this full embodiment of myself. There was this full allowance, acceptance, complete honoring and respect for myself, finally. Feeling the fear of taking space and just taking space anyways. Feeling the fear of speaking my voice, speaking my truth, and just doing it anyways. So then in that sense, you can say that I fully did what I wanted for once in my life. I fully allowed myself that. And I felt the fear of it. I felt the resistance. I felt the no. I felt the you don't deserve this. I felt the you're not enough. You're bad. You're wrong. Felt all of it over and over again. And it stung like hell. Reminded me of my past over and over, layer by layer. All the experiences where I rejected myself, denied myself, and others did so too. All of them just flashed before my eyes over and over, deeper and deeper. And that's how energetically there was just a freedom within. A freedom meaning there was nothing left but life. There was no more of me left, just life. So that's how I can say now, I don't need anything, I don't want anything, I don't want for anything, I don't desire anything, because I'm not here anymore. I loved myself to death. And I did not do it alone. In a way, you can never do it alone. There are parts where you could do alone. Sometimes it's necessary, but life is never really lived alone. And then the term alone doesn't make any sense because there is no individual. There is no separate person anywhere. So it's not that you become one or you become a we. You just melt away. You just disappear. Never to be resurrected again. Impossible. So for things to come and go and to be constantly changing and never feeling a sense of gain or loss, that's freedom. That's the freedom that's tasted here now. So after the death of me, there's no real push and pull toward an outcome anymore because there's no energetic sense that is doing that anymore. Naturally. Like it just dissolved. From feeling the discomfort and pain and sorrow and grief and desperation and devastation and insanity of the need for it to be my way. That was never possible. That was never stable. That was never going to be permanent. That was never possible. That might seem like a sad truth of life, but when there's a full acceptance of that, that things come and go and change and are never permanent. And then the sense that felt unsafe and scared of that reality and denied it in all of these different ways, hid from it in all of these different ways. The only real out is the complete collapse of that. That was equally life the whole time, but was experienced as separate. It was complete innocence the whole time, from the root. But from the experience of that, it can never fully see itself as innocence. It'll just keep oscillating from guilty to prideful. Like, oh shit, I fucked up, or yeah, I did real good. That was my doing, my achievement. It'll always just oscillate. And therefore emotions will just be more extreme, understandably. But as the sense of self is really being confronted or dissolving, emotions will be probably more intense than ever before, because you're feeling through all of the stuff that's been unconscious under the surface. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Not that any of us really are, I don't think. I feel like most of us are just so strong. Not in a aggressive, dominating way, just in just a really beautiful way.